Hello and welcome everyone to the NVIDIA Certification webinar. We're going to get started shortly. Just want to make sure that everyone can hear us and see us. If you have any technical issues, please use the Q&A window and we'll be glad to help. So before we get started with our discussion, there's just some housekeeping topics that I'm going to go over. So if you have any questions while the presenters are speaking, please use the Q&A window at any time. A copy of this presentation, the slides we're going to go through, is going to be available in the resource list. So if you navigate to the little window that has the resource list, you'll be able to download this deck. And it's going to have links to other materials that will be helpful. So again, if you're having trouble seeing or hearing the presentation, try to ensure that it's the only app that's running your browser. Close anything else. If your audio is giving you trouble, try to refresh your browser window or try a different browser. That might solve it. Any technical issues that you have, please reach out through the Q&A window and we'll try and help you. Okay, and with that, today's lineup will feature some internal NVIDIAns as well as some guest speakers. We'll do introductions as we go, but we're going to cover several topics. And hopefully this will be valuable for you as you consider getting certified by NVIDIA. So here are the topics that we're going to cover in the next hour or so. First of all, we'll dive into a program overview just to discuss the benefits of the certification. Then we will discuss the Gen AI certifications that we have available for the developer audience. We'll also talk about our infrastructure certifications that are aimed at the infrastructure professionals. We'll discuss a little bit about the roadmap of what's coming soon and what you can expect. And then we'll have a Q&A session where we will answer some of the questions that you have put in the Q&A box. Okay, and with that, let's get started. So thank you all for joining. Why are you here? I believe you're here because you understand the value in certifications in general. NVIDIA aims to provide you with a recognition in the AI industry. And that is achieved with experience, it's achieved with training, and then it's achieved by passing one of the exams that we have built for you. Everything we've done here, this body of work, is to recognize individuals and validate their skill sets with all things NVIDIA related. Another benefit for certification is our partner community can use this as a way to vet candidates for positions that they have available. So from a recruiting perspective, certification allows recruiters to better identify the skill sets in individuals that will best be suited for the task at hand. Certification also allows higher education students to prepare themselves for the workforce. So by going through training and taking the exam and being successful, they can be early adopters of the technology and best position themselves for the work market. Finally, certification traditionally and currently allows people to demonstrate their continuous learning commitment. So it's a learning path. We have built a program that provides you with steps, incremental steps that allow you to start from zero and build your expertise up to, at this point in time, a professional level. So as you can see on the right-hand side of this slide, these are the certifications that we currently have available. We have 2 certifications for AI developers in the Gen AI domain, and we have 4 certifications for AI infrastructure professionals in the infrastructure operations networking domains. So we will dive into the details of all of these in the course of the webinar. And as I said, you have access to all of these slides So the presentation will have the links to the landing pages on our website for you to go and see more details. Okay, so with that, I would like to introduce our first speaker. Deepika Yamanur is a lead technical recruiter at NVIDIA. And I would like to ask Deepika, what value does a recruiter see in certification in their role? Deepika, over to you.
Thank you, Marco, for your question. Thanks for the introduction. Let me share my perspective, drawing from personal experiences in the ever-evolving world of technology. Reflecting back a couple decades, at the risk of dating myself, the tech landscape was shaped by emerging technologies like C++, Java, networking expertise in Cisco systems running predominantly on Unix, Linux-based operating systems. As a recruiter, reviewing thousands of resumes daily, certain certifications always stood out. Credentials like, you might remember, Sun Certified Java Programmer like SCJP, Oracle Certified Professional, CCNA, Red Hat Certified Engineer. These certifications were more than just badges. They symbolized credibility and technical excellence. Do you remember those times? Um, Hiring managers consistently requested profiles of candidates who had successfully completed these programs and achieved solid scores. You know why? It provided a clear skill validation, like you mentioned in our earlier slide, right? It saves us time in screening, gives us confidence in candidates' expertise, demonstrates that candidates have growth mindset, and it creates a somewhat benchmark amongst other candidates we're talking to. It enables recruitment in emerging fields. Right? Fast forward to today, and we are at the forefront of a new era driven by AI technologies. This wave demands not just programming expertise, but also advanced infrastructure knowledge. Many industry leaders who generate and processes vast amount of data rely extensively on our infrastructure and our ecosystem, right? For those who are aspiring to stay relevant and thrive in this dynamic environment, master the modern tech stack is essential. Our certification programs not only keeps you aligned with the latest technological trends, but also open doors to exciting opportunities in this rapidly evolving field. The definition of infrastructure has changed drastically over the years, and what once was cutting edge technology might now fall short. Our training programs help bridge this gap, equipping you with the tools to remain competitive and innovative. I wholeheartedly believe that the value of our certification programs are not just an investment in your professional growth, but more in your future. Jensen often reminds us that continuous learning is key to feeding one's own curiosity, right? Um, I believe these certifications perfectly embody that philosophy. This We recruiters are on the lookout for that NCA and NCP badges on the resumes. It's the new market of expertise and readiness. Thank you, Marco, for the time. Back to you.
Thank you, Deepika. In full agreement there. The certification has been an industry of itself for several decades now. So, there's an expectation in the market for high quality exams that will reflect an individual's skill set and value to organizations. So, as a recruiter, your insight is very valuable there. Thank you for that. Okay, let's dive into a little bit of details of the certs that we offer. So I'm going to introduce Aisha Hedges, who's the certification manager for the developer audience. And Aisha, would you mind giving us some details about the Gen AI certifications that we have available and how people can prepare for those?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the introduction, Marco. Hey everyone, we are so excited that you can join us today. So like Marco mentioned, we have two programs, certification programs, so the AI infrastructure and the developer. So I'll focus on the developer certification. This program is actually relatively brand new. So we launched this program last GTC, which is our big annual conference that happens annually. So we launched that March of 2024. So this program is new, and the beauty of this program is it's not saturated yet. So you have the opportunity to be one of the first ones to get this credential. So within our developer certifications, we have two Gen AI credentials. One focuses on large language models, and the other one focuses on multimodal. So these certifications are both associate. So all of our certifications, whether it's developer or AI infrastructure, will fall within three different levels that we have. So the first one is our associate level. That's our foundational credential. And then followed by our professional certifications, which is targeted to those professionals who have been in the industry for 2 years and more. And then our last level is that expert. So we have these two Gen AI certifications that are an associate. We are going to launch professional certifications in the later this year. Gary will talk about the roadmap later in this presentation. So let's double click on one of our certifications. Let's focus on LLMs for now. This certification is an entry-level credential that really validates your foundational concepts of developing AI applications that's focusing on using Gen AI and LLMs, as you can imagine. So when we developed this exam, we had these target audience in mind. So the software developers, software engineers, solution architects, data scientists, researchers. But I want to just communicate that this is not limited to those roles. So you do not have to be in this role to take this certification. So this exam is 1 hour long. It's 50 to 60 multiple choice questions. And so there is no hands-on. You're not going to be expected to do any coding. It's strictly multiple choice. So we do ask that as a prerequisite that you have a basic understanding of Gen AI and LLM. That way you can be successful. This exam will be valid for 2 years. So if you pass, this exam is valid for 2 years, and then you can retake the exam if you want to get a recertification. Once you pass, you will get an automatic email that gives you the opportunity to download your certificate, as well as your digital badge that you can showcase to your professional network. Just a quick little story. It's something that just makes us really happy as someone, develops these certifications. We had a candidate take the exam, they passed the exam, showed their digital badge, and then they had a recruiter reach out to them, and they are now accepting a new role. So these are the success stories that we really, really love to hear, because this is why we build these certifications, right? We want to make sure you're visible and that you stand out from the rest of the group. I don't want to say that this is exactly what will happen. I don't want to promise that, but I'm just saying that this is something that can happen, right? So you'll get a digital badge that you can show to your LinkedIn. So for this exam, the different topics, these are the topics that we'll be covering. So each of the exam question will be mapped to one of these 5 topics. So the majority of this exam will go over core machine learning and AI knowledge. So that's 30% of the exam, followed by 24% in software development. And then the rest of the questions will either be experimentation, data analysis and visualization, or trustworthy AI. So if you want to do a deep dive into our blueprint, you can actually download a study guide that we offer to you for free. So if you go to our website, and you go to the certification tab, you're able to go to select any of the certification you're interested in. So let's say you're interested in LLM. You click on that, you will be able to see a free study guide that has our blueprint, so the topics that we talked about, but more importantly, it gives you a description of that blueprint. So it tells you what we mean when we say core machine learning and knowledge, right? And then that gives you the weight as well. included in that study guide are different trainings that we offer. So we've mapped our training and the course objectives against those different topics. So you'll be able to see that. So if you feel like you want more training before you attempt the exam, we have recommended courses for you. And it's also in the study guide that's also on our website. But these are the 5 courses that we recommend for this exam. So the way to look at this is, so we've got those 5 different courses. Those are the rows. We have instructor-led version. We have a self-paced version. So really you're able to consume the training in however way you want. For our instructor-led version, these are, as you can imagine, we have a live instructor that's teaching this. We also offer this in different modalities. So if you're interested in a private training for your group, we can accommodate that. So we can either do that in person or remote. We can either host it your company, or if you want to come over to NVIDIA, we can also host it there. Now, if the self-paced is a little bit more your style, we also offer those courses, same exact course, just self-paced version. You can start at any time, anywhere. I want to say that these courses, you actually have access to this for 6 months, so you can start and continue to practice, continue to review the content. You'll continue to have those access for 6 months. One thing I want to emphasize is these are recommended training. These are not required. So you do not need to take any of these training before you attempt the exam. In fact, the first thing I would want you to do is look at the study guide, see if you feel confident, and if not, then take a look at the other courses that we have available for you. All right, so that's our LLM exam. And just for fun, if you want to just get a little flavor of what the exam questions are like, we've provided a sample exam question here. So we'll give you 30 seconds just to go over it. You'll see a poll. You can select what you feel like the right answer is. This is anonymous, and no one will know what your answer is. This is just meant to be fun, and just so you can get a little preview of the questions. So we'll give you 30 seconds. Give you 10 more seconds. All right, so the correct answer is, okay, we almost had it. The correct answer is B. So if you are one of the ones that selected B, I think you are ready for the exam. I think you should go ahead and attempt the exam. And also, we'll talk about a promotion that we'll give you later to help you with your certification journey. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into multimodal. So this is the other certification that we have available under the developer programs. This is also an associate certification, so this is an entry-level credential, validating your foundational skills in designing, implementing AI applications, but now you're focusing on multimodal data, so text, image, and audio combined. So these are different audiences we have in mind. Again, the developers, the data scientists, software engineers, solution architects. Again, if this is not your role, I would not let that stop you. This is just who we had in mind when we were developing the certifications. This is also a 1-hour certification. You also have 1 hour to take the certification. It's 50 to 60 multiple choice. Again, there are no labs or hands-on coding that you'll need to do. This exam will also be valid for 2 years, and you'll receive a digital badge and certificate. Currently, this price is $125. So like I mentioned, we'll if you stick around, we'll provide a promo code that will give you a discount, and that way you can start your certification journey. Really want to encourage you to register. So for this exam, these are the different topics that we'll cover. The biggest topic that this certification will be mapped to is experimentation, coming in at 25%. followed by core machine learning and AI knowledge at 20%. And then the rest will be mapped to software development, multimodal data, data analysis and visualization, performance optimization, and trustworthy AI. For these certifications, you can register for it online. So as long as you have a computer with a camera and audio, as well as an internet, you're able to register and take this exam. We proctor it online. But we also offer these certifications live in some events. So we'll be offering it at GTC this year. We'll be offering all of our certifications. If you want to take it in person, it'll be available then. Okay, so if you're ready for the exam, would love for you to attempt it. But if you want to take more training, you want to train before you take it, we also have recommended courses for you. So again, if you navigate to the NVIDIA training website, you go to the certification and multimodal and select multimodal, you'll see the free study guide that we have there, as well as that will cover the blueprint, as well as our recommended training. One other thing that it includes, actually, I haven't mentioned, are additional readings. So these are all free additional readings. Again, not required, so don't be overwhelmed by the amount of additional readings we include there. But these are all free additional readings that we think will help you be successful in this exam. So for the multimodal exam, we have 5 courses that we also recommend. One thing to note here is that 2 of the courses we recommend doesn't have a self-paced version. So if you are interested in that, it will actually, it's only offered in instructor-led, at least for now. And then that very last course, the Building AI Agents with Multimodal Models, that's actually a new course that we're launching at GTC this year. We'll be offering that at GTC as well. So if you're attending, if you're interested, that's one of the courses that you can take. So that, oh yeah, one more fun thing. So we also want to give you an opportunity to get a sample of the question that we'll ask for this exam. So let's go ahead and jump into the sample exam question. And again, we'll give you 30 seconds to attempt this. Okay, we'll give you 10 more seconds. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at that. Okay, we almost had it as well. So you answered C, you are correct. Again, this was just meant for fun. If you are interested, if you feel like this was too easy for you, go ahead and attempt the exam. If not, if you want to take more training, talk to one of us. We would be more than happy to talk to you about any of our training. We want to make sure that we can communicate all the trainings that we have available for you. All right. Thanks, Marco. Back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Aisha. That was great. A lot of questions coming through, so we can see that there's definitely interest in this. Okay, so we'll definitely get to some of the questions that you folks are putting in the Q&A window at the end. In the interest of time, we're going to move forward to Vincent Granville, who's the Chief AI Scientist and co-founder at mltechniques.com. Vincent, you've recently gone through the process of taking an exam. Can you talk to us about why you chose to get certified by NVIDIA, how you prepared, and how is it helping you professionally?
Yeah, so to answer the questions, for me, NVIDIA is really the backbone of everything that's done with Gen AI, LM, and stuff like that. So everybody knows about this company, a very respected company. I had very little time on my hands. I'm extremely busy. So if I were to take one certification, I can only take one. And I decided it would be the NVIDIA certification. And just to give you an example, for instance, right now we are raising investment money. We're talking to VCs. In one of the conversations, the VC guys were kind of a little tired or something. And as soon as they heard from me the word NVIDIA, they started to listen really carefully. So really, NVIDIA is, I mean, the top company for LLM, Gen AI, and that kind of stuff, the backbone. Now, as far as the certification went, I didn't have any technical problems. Pretty straightforward to install a safe browser. The exam is about an hour. You are able to actually, you can answer the questions in like 25 minutes, something like that, and then you can review your answers before submitting. And if you're weak in some areas, for instance, software development, I'm not really strong in that stuff, and you don't succeed, you can pass the exam again in 14 days. And I think without having to pay again, it's free in that case. I was surprised by the extent of the it covers in the exam, actually, lots of topics, evaluation of LLMs in particular. How do you switch from CPU to GPU, and how do you do it efficiently? Some components, some Python libraries, memory management, efficiency. These were the topics that I was most interested in. And one of the reasons I am interested in actually in getting at least one certification, in this case has been NVIDIA, is because myself, I'm developing LLMs and that are very, very different from everybody else. So there's no transformers. So in order to get credibility on my side, I need to show that I know stuff about deep neural networks. I know stuff about transformers, stuff like that. Otherwise, people are going to think, well, you don't have transformer because you don't know what transformers are. That's why you design a system like that. So it's important to me to build this credibility. And also regarding employees that we will hire pretty soon, I want to make sure that they at least have some good foundations. So passing this exam for me was also a test to see if it's a great certification to request for potential hire. And the answer is yes, because a lot of candidates, they put LLM on their resume. They've done a little bit of NLP in grad school or stuff like that, and it's really not. We don't know that much in the end. So this exam tests a deeper knowledge. Without, you don't need to code. It's not an exam where you are tested for your coding skills or stuff like that. You need to know libraries for and how they're used and stuff like that. So more like a high level type of exam. One thing that I thought was really interesting is the additional material. I mean, if you want to succeed with this exam, it's a good advice would be that you take some courses, and especially if the area that we are weak. And so this exam made me read the paper, Attention is All You Need, that famous paper that I've heard many times. I've never read it before, but taking this exam actually encouraged me to read that paper. And I thought, wow, that's really, I've never read a paper that explained transformer and the attention mechanism in such, simple words. I really understood more than before when I read that paper, even though I think it's 2017, I don't remember, something like that. It's a seminal paper that essentially jump-started the whole thing. All right, I think that's it for me.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Vincent. Yeah, that's a great perspective on someone that has gone through the process and taken the exam and knows what it takes to prepare for it. So hopefully that's going to be valuable for our audience here as well. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, folks, we're going to switch over to the infrastructure certifications. I'd like to introduce Gary Fluid, who's a certification manager at NVIDIA and has been working to build these certifications out. So Gary, I'm going to pass it over to you. And can you please give us some details about the infrastructure certs?
Yep. Thanks, Marco. So the three certifications that I'll speak to today are specifically in the infrastructure area. These are for IT professionals and infrastructure professionals, formerly known as admins. And what you'll notice here is that there are two levels of certification. So the associate level, similar to the Gen AI exams that Aisha talked about, and then two new exams that were just released recently for the professional level in infrastructure and operations. And one thing that I'll note here about this green line that goes from associate to professional, it's not a prerequisite. So if you've got multiple years of experience and you've been doing this job for a while in infrastructure related roles, then you can hop in at the professional level. You do not need to go through the associate level first. If you are sort of newer to AI and you're sort of just starting your career, then I highly recommend starting out at the associate level and then moving on from there. So let's dive in a little bit deeper to the first exam, that associate exam. Like the other associate exams, it's about 50 questions. It's about an hour in length. But this one will focus on AI operations and infrastructure and sort of core knowledge about AI. So again, no prerequisites. The certification is valid for 2 years. I will mention that all of these certifications that we're speaking to today are human proctored exams. So you will take it remotely from your desk, but it will be proctored by a human. It will be in a lockdown browser. There have been some questions in the Q&A about what can be used during the exam. So it's closed book, closed web. It's just the exam by itself, and you'll have an hour to take the exam. We do record it as you take the exam session. So it is a fully proctored exam like you would take at any test center. So let's go to the next slide and dive into this one a little bit more. The exam blueprint for the NCA, and by the way, NCA refers to an NVIDIA Certified Associate. So you'll see NCA and NCP. This one is 3 sections. So core knowledge makes up the majority of it. So what's the difference between AI and machine learning and deep learning? You'll need to know a little bit about NVIDIA software and solutions for AI specifically. And then there are 2 sections on operations and infrastructure. Just basically understanding what is Kubernetes, what is BCM. It's not going to ask you to solve deep scenarios around those tools, but generally what they are used for. So if you had a given problem, how would you use these tools to solve that problem? So that's what operations and infrastructure will be about on these 2 exams, this exam with those 2 sections. There is a free study guide again, and there is a course. The course is AI Infrastructure and Operations Fundamentals. By the way, this exam was previously known as AI in the data center. And so it's now aligned more closely with this course, which is the Infrastructure and Operations Fundamentals course. Self-paced course, it's all online. And you can find that on NVIDIA/training. There's also a free study guide for this exam. And like the other study guides, it has additional readings, which I highly recommend because this exam will go a little bit beyond the course. And so those additional readings will really help you zero in on the topics that are addressed in this exam. That's true for all the study guides. Okay, so that's the AI Infrastructure and Operations Associate. The next exam here will be the AI Infrastructure Professional exam. And this one has 4 sections. It goes deeper into physical layer management. And so this is a much more difficult exam. It splits up these sections by systems and servers and systems and networks. And then there's also a smaller section on troubleshooting, which is just 15%. So it's a 90-minute exam. It's more expensive at $400. And it's directed at a professional audience that's got some years of experience. So this will go into a lot more detail in infrastructure specifically, so more difficult. Let's go to the next slide and see what courses are associated with this. So I recommend the Infrastructure Fundamentals course, as we do for the associate exam. But in addition to that, there's an Infrastructure Professional course. It's like 6 days in length. It's a live course that's delivered remotely. And one thing I want to mention is that it was just recently introduced this month. And so currently there is a 50% off coupon for that course. If you go to our webpage for that course, when you get to nvidia.com/training, you find this course, there will be a coupon code for that course at 50% off, which is fabulous. And I don't think it's going to be around for real long. So that's what this exam is about. So again, physical layer management, about GPUs, how do you use Docker, goes into a fair amount of detail on Bluefield and DPUs. You will need to know about NVLink and switching and routing and fabrics, and then some troubleshooting as well. So there's a little bit overlap with the operations exam, which I'll talk to you next, but this is generally for those folks who are setting up data centers and determining the infrastructure for AI workloads. So if you're in that kind of a role, or if you aspire to that kind of a role, then I recommend this exam. Okay, next slide. This will be the NCP operations exam, sort of similar to the infrastructure exam, but this focuses more on admin roles where the data center is set it up and you're monitoring, managing, and optimizing that data center, and specifically for AI workloads. Again, it's a 90-minute exam, not 120 as mentioned here. It's $400, 60 to 70 questions. It kind of fluctuates from time to time. And again, it's delivered remotely, human proctored at your desk. And let's go on to the next slide and dive into the details here. So similar with the operations fundamentals course, recommend that. And then the operation professional course, which is again a 6-day remotely delivered course. Also available for 50% off currently. The 4 sections are very heavily loaded on administration. So you'll see that you need to know a little bit about Fleet Command, Slurm, Base Command Manager, and MIG. And then installation is really installing software that runs these workloads, and scheduling software, clustering, that sort of thing. And then again, there's troubleshooting and optimization. So you'll need to know a lot about Kubernetes, a lot about Base Command Manager, a little bit about Slurm and Fleet. And all of these things are in the study guide, which is coming soon. So by the next week or two, the study guide will be up on our website and you can download that for free. It will have, in addition to the course recommendations and a unit by unit coverage by objective, it will also give you many additional readings that will be super helpful in studying for this exam. So that's the operations exam, and that is the 3 infrastructure exams that we're speaking to today. And so I'm going to hand it back over to you, Marco, and I think we have a sample question. Is that right?
That's right. Thanks, Gary. So same as before, everyone, we'll give you 30 seconds to look at the question, and if you want to answer, that'd be great, and then we'll see the results.
About 10 more seconds. Let's see how they answered, Marco.
All right.
Well done, team. All right, so 84% you answered correctly if you answered B. So obviously it's a much easier exam than the professional exams, and but that's the kind of question that you'll see on the associate level operations exam. So good on you folks, and back to you, Marco.
Thank you. All right, thanks, Gary. Great detail there on our infrastructure certs. And again, for the audience, you will be able to download all of these resources once the webinar is finished. Okay, so we want to also discuss what it takes to build these exams for you. We have Michael Fonjimi, who's a senior field architect at Insight with us. Michael, can you talk to us a little bit about your experience in being one of the SMEs, one of the subject matter experts that have helped us build an exam?
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it, Marco. So yeah, I'm a pre-sales architect. We're talking to customers about AI solutions, AI outcomes. So as we're building out our offerings and our expertise, I was looking for a certification. I agree with that statement that, customers look for certs to know that you've at least validated your expertise. You know what you're talking about. And at the time, looking at the timeline, it's going back a bit, but I think it was like around September 2023. I was looking at available NVIDIA certification tests, and the associate was out, but the professional tests were not out. So I decided to start with the associate test and take that test, which I would highly recommend. I think it's a valuable test to start with. It is not high level, but it gives a good foundation for anybody. I think customers, pre-sales architects, and even I've recommended to some of our sales guys that are more technically inclined. So foundationally, I think it's a great place to start. I started on that test, was able to pass that test, but I did have a bunch of comments and suggestions about that specific test. NVIDIA has great resources for partners like me. So I reached out to our partner engineer, made the comments, and he introduced me to Marco, who was very, very helpful in terms of addressing some of those comments. And I guess maybe he found some of those comments valuable because he had asked if I wanted to participate in the beta test for the infrastructure test that was coming up. And I said, absolutely. I'm a firm believer in the value of this. So loop me in. So myself and a couple of other colleagues at Insight went through the test early in 2024. We were provided with a good amount of training material there, in addition to what we're already provided as partners, which is really good. So 18 hours of training material to go through. I found it, again, very useful, very valuable. But we also have the ability to go into NVIDIA's Launchpad Labs, get a little bit of hands-on experience through that. Again, very valuable to get the hands-on experience. We're developing our own offerings, so Insight has a very extensive lab that we can get our hands dirty in. I've got my own home lab that I think is really useful to get in there and break stuff. So with all of that together, I think that was a great way to kind of prepare for that beta test. And coming out of that beta test, Marco had asked a group of us to kind of evaluate, tell us what we thought about that test, give our comments. Were they good questions? Did they align appropriately to the folks who are aligning to take that test? The folks like me, pre-sales architects, customers, anybody who's going to make use of NVIDIA infrastructure technologies and the related software stack. So we provided our feedback, and we kind of went back and forth in terms of looking at those questions that were asked, rating how difficult are they? Are they way too easy? Are they way too hard? Are they relevant to what we're targeting? So we went through a couple of weeks of that, and I think in May and June, to kind of finalize, should this beta test be released to the public? So I really appreciate being part of that effort and allowing me to provide the feedback there. Internally, I know NVIDIA spent a lot of time refining the testings, but Marco did reach out to us in September of last year to say, look, we've gone through all the stuff, but obviously NVIDIA's fast-moving technology. Some things might have changed. So let's go through, review it again, just see if any of those questions need to be updated. Have any of those questions become obsolete because of updates in technology, or do we need to add some things? So we went through that in September, and that was a great exercise. So finally, I believe we released the actual test, which I think is out today for the audience out there today. But yeah, I would just say I really appreciate, as a partner, NVIDIA's involving us and looking to get our feedback. And as a partner, really great to work with NVIDIA because they're a big company, but they're willing to listen to folks in my space on the partner space. So really appreciate that.
Awesome, Michael. Thank you so much for that perspective. We really appreciate everything you've done to help us. And I think for the audience to understand that part of building our exams is relying on external subject matter experts, not only from our partner community, but just folks that want to help out. So this is obviously a shameful plug in here and a call to action. If you're in the audience and you would like to be part of the exam build process, please reach out to us. We're always looking for people that can help us. So just briefly, while we're still on this topic, I want to make sure that you all understand that we go through a very rigorous process when building our exams. From the ideation step, we go to what's called a job task analysis, where we sit down as a group with the SMEs and kind of define what are the tasks that the target audience performs on a daily basis that we are assessing. Like, if you pass this exam, what tasks are we gonna be comfortable that you can do? From the job task analysis step, we go to a blueprint, which you've seen in Aisha and Gary's presentation. That blueprint of topics and their respective weights comes from that job task analysis and a survey that we send out for people to specify what topic is more important to them. From the blueprint, then we can go and write questions. And again, we cannot do this without subject matter experts basically conveying their expertise and knowledge into a body of questions, which is then reviewed also as a group to ensure that all questions are valid. From there, we go to the beta exam, which, as Michael was describing, is going through all the possible questions that we've created. And with that, we get feedback, we analyze those results, and then we make the choice of which questions to go live with. So we want to guarantee that you as a candidate gets the absolute best quality question and exam for what you're trying to achieve. And all of this is not possible without people like Michael and Vincent who help us along that journey. So thanks again, Michael. Okay. From that, I'm going to go back to Gary. Gary, can you talk to us a little bit about what's coming in the short term, in the next few months or so?
Yeah, you bet. Just a really quick look at what's coming in the next couple of months. We have the green boxes we've spoken to already today. These are the exams that are in market currently. With the exception of the InfiniBand exam, we didn't talk about that because it's going to EOL at the end of next month. And that will be wrapped into a new exam for AI networking. So that exam will come out in March. And then in addition to that, on the developer side, we have 2 new exams that are in development right now. The accelerated data science exam is at a professional level. So this is data science specifically for AI workloads, not just sort of vanilla data science. So that's why it's sort of at a professional level. That is expected to release by our GTC conference in March. Excuse me. And then we're excited about this 3D exam, which is our first exam into the 3D omniverse and robotics space. This is on OpenUSD Universal Scene Description for 3D workflows, and we expect that to be released in around the June timeframe, possibly earlier. So that's what's coming in the next couple of months. So we're looking forward to releasing these 3 new exams in the next couple of months. And certainly we hope to see you guys at GTC. I wanted to mention, we've been getting a lot of questions in the Q&A box, which is awesome. We're going to try to answer those questions offline. We're not going to get to them all, but I appreciate you guys asking those questions. Back to you, Marco, on the promotions.
Thanks, Gary. And I would ask Aisha, if you don't mind speaking to the promotions that we have running and coming up.
Of course, this is the fun stuff. So thanks for sticking around. As mentioned, we have a special promotion for you. So we want to encourage your certification journey. We want to support it. And so we're giving you a code, give you 50% off any certification. So this is the code. You'll also find us in your resources, so you can download this. But if you use this code, they'll give you 50% off any certification. Again, you can register online. You do have to use it by February 1st, so you just need to register by then. But you have 2 months to take the exam. So let's say you register tomorrow, you can book it 2 months ahead to give you enough time to prepare. Another promotion that we have 50% off some of our AI and infrastructure AI infrastructure and operations workshops. So again, this is linked in your resources if you want to find the website for the workshops that we have. This is a really significant discount. Some of these workshops are $3,000, so 50% off is really a great offer. Again, we want to support you, so that's why we want to give you this. And then one last thing, we have GTC coming up in March. So first time this year, we're going to offer all certifications for free for our GTC attendees on site. So you can attempt any of our certifications for free at GTC. We will also have some of our training workshops there. So if you're interested in taking some of the workshops before you attempt the certification, that's also available. Again, that's all linked there. Come and find us. We'll be there. We'll be in the certification area. So if you have any questions about certifications, any of our training, if you just want to chat, we'll be there and happy to talk to you. All right, back to you, Marco.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you all for staying around. We do have quite a few questions that have come in through the Q&A window, and we'll address some of those now. I think we'll focus on those that are most pertinent, of course, and if we don't get to your question, we will answer it offline after the webinar has terminated. I'd like to start here with one of the questions that's related to the actual process of scheduling an exam. And Gary, if you don't mind, letting the audience know, what is the process for scheduling a certification exam, and are they available in multiple time zones or languages?
Yeah, great question. The process is to go to our website, go to the training site, find the exam that you're interested in. There's a bunch of details there. There'll be a link to a platform called Certiverse. So when you go to purchase the exam, it will take you over to Certiverse. You'll create a login there. We really recommend that you use your business email just so it's easier to track you. You can always change your email later on the credential, but use your business email when you sign up. That's where you will purchase the exam and then register to take it. You'll pick a day and a time in the future, sometime that's convenient for you. And then when that day comes up, you'll launch the exam browser, essentially take the exam on that time. You'll get a score immediately at the end of the exam. It'll be a pass or a fail. And then you also get a score report, which tells you how you did per section on the exam. And that will be emailed to you as well as stored as one of your exam assets in the Certiverse platform. So that's how you will schedule and take an exam from Certiverse. I mentioned that it's a proctored exam, so that's why you have to pick a day and a time. We recommend that you pick a day and a time and a place that is very quiet and secure. You're alone in a room. You'll be required to kind of show the room and not be interrupted during the entire hour or hour and a half of the exam. So that's I think that's answering the question.
There was also a sub question there about time zones and languages.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so available worldwide in any time zone. Languages are limited to English and simplified Chinese at the moment, although we are expecting to add additional languages over this next year for all of the exams. It'll be a little bit unscheduled when those languages will be released and in which zone, which regions. It just depends on the popularity of those exams in those regions, but we expect to launch our exams in multiple languages. I just can't give you exact ones for exact exams at this point.
Great. Thank you. Hopefully that answers the question there from the audience. Okay, the next one I have here is Aisha, perhaps I think you've covered this, but perhaps you can reiterate. The question is, do I need to take all the recommended courses to pass a certification?
Absolutely not. So you do not need to take every single recommended courses we have. We're very careful in how we phrase it, right? These are recommended courses. They're not required to. You do not need to take all of it before you attempt the exam. They're just meant to help you prepare in case you feel like you need additional training. Actually, the first thing I would recommend is going to the study guide that we have per certification that has a lot of details, that also has a lot of additional free readings that we have. Vincent mentioned that paper that he found really valuable. So no, you don't need to take any of our required recommended courses. Start with a study guide, and if you feel like you need additional help, we have trainings for you, and they're offered in different modalities. So whatever you prefer to consume your training, whether that's instructor-led or self-paced.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to switch over to another question that we have regarding the promotion. So perhaps we stick with you, Aisha, for now. To avail the promotions that we are seeing on the current slide, do we need to book the exam before the 1st of February?
Yes, so you do need to book. So you need to register when you go online. You'll register. You need to register by February 1st to make sure that that code is still valid. But you have up to 2 months to book your exam. So let's say you book it Monday, you can schedule an exam ahead of time in the future. So you don't need to take the exam by February 1st. You just need to register for the exam. Hope that clarifies that a little bit.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, Gary, perhaps you can take this one. Can you please explain a bit about the exam retake policy within 14 days as alluded by Vincent?
Yeah, so if you take the exam and fail, you'll be able to retake the exam, but there's a 14-day waiting period between attempts. And this is just for exam security. It's also an opportunity for you to use that score report to go study those areas that you did not perform as well in. So that's what will happen. The retake is, it's a charge every time you take the exam. The retake is not part of the cost. So for instance, if you're taking the associate exam and it's $125, it's $125 every time you take the exam. And you can take the exam up to, or you can attempt the exam, I should say, up to 5 times in a year. And so that's the retake policy.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, there's another one here, which I think I'm going to give it a go and answer it. So what is the main difference between the associate AI infrastructure and operations and the professional AI infrastructure and professional AI operations exams? And why do the professional exams cost so much more? So this is a great question, right? So the professional level exams aim to verify and validate someone's skills to actually deploy AI infrastructure. So the level of responsibility, let's say, that someone that has the NCP will be held to is higher than at an associate exam. Associate exams are a relatively accessible first step into the track, whether it's AI infrastructure or developer, it's the same idea. The associate level tests you at a basic fundamental level with regards to taxonomy and the technology that is being tested on. The professional level exams, those tend to be more for roles that are actually going to be performing actions like installing a DGX, installing a data center with all that implies, the cabling, the initial configuration, standing up base command manager, monitoring the system, optimizing that system, and just really the roles that are responsible for ensuring that AI workloads run as efficiently as possible. So a lot more work goes into building a professional level exam. The discussions are more involved, and we really want to make sure that whoever passes a professional level exam is best equipped to perform those tasks that I just mentioned. So you will see definitely a difference in price for the end product. Hopefully that is an acceptable answer. Okay, we're almost at the top of the hour. I want to take the last minute here to thank our presenters. We really appreciate your feedback and perspective on the certification program. I want to remind everyone on the webinar that you will have access to the set of slides that we presented here. And do please reach out to us with any questions you may have that haven't been covered here. And obviously, we will get back to everyone else's question after the fact. So if we didn't get to cover your question, don't worry, we will figure out a way to answer it and get back to you. So thank you all for taking the time. We really appreciate it. Do spread the word. Remember, you get a digital badge if you pass a cert, and you can put that up on LinkedIn and showcase your achievement. And if you really want to help us build exams, feel free to reach out. We'll be glad to have that help. So thank you all. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you again soon.